Guys, James Harden is already doing this in his first game as a Philadelphia 76er.
Really with very little option left, a little pitter-pat, the step back.
I know that I've asked you guys a few times already, but I want to know how you guys feel about James Harden in Philadelphia. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I couldn't be more excited, not just for James Harden in Philadelphia, but for the remainder of the NBA season. Kendrick Perkins said because of the play-in tournament that the playoffs started last night. While he's not being literal, I think that what he's saying is actually true. In the coming weeks, there's a chance that we'll see an elevated level of play. We'll see teams like my New Orleans Pelicans going all out trying to make the play-in, and we should see teams like the Brooklyn Nets going all in, trying to dodge the play-in. Now look, maybe the Brooklyn Nets weren't the best example, but they're relevant to the video. Anyways, I'm sure you guys got my point. A little rest before the playoffs can go a long way. And I mean also, there's no guarantee that you'll win your play-in games. Just ask my guy Stephen Curry. Right now I think the NBA is in a really fun place. You have young stars trying to prove they're the next big thing, and what's going on right now is serious. And you have old stars still trying to build upon their legacies. Coming into this season, who saw Memphis as a 3 seed? Who saw Chicago fighting for 1? Who saw James Harden going to Philadelphia? Now we're going to get into this Harden stuff in just a second, but first, let's get a word from our sponsor.
I want to give a major shout out to Albert for sponsoring today's video. For those of you that don't know what Albert is, let me introduce you. Albert is basically banking, but like on a completely different level. It's free to sign up for and super easy to use. Albert won't do anything like charge you $35 in overdraft fees. Check it out, with Albert, you could get up to $250 whenever you need if you qualify. The best way to find out if you qualify is by downloading the app yourself. One of my favorite things about Albert is the cash back that you get with your purchases. Let's be real, managing money can be tough, and a little help can go a long way. This is where Albert's Genius team comes in. They will help devise a plan for you and answer any questions that you have. Guys, it gets even better. When you get paid on your Albert card, you can get your paycheck up to 2 whole days early. For anybody interested in Albert, just click the link in the description box. Or you can just go to albert.com/decoop, whichever your preference. That's albert.com/decoop. For a limited time, when you open a checking account and connect a qualifying direct deposit, you'll get a free $150. That's tough to beat. I want to give a major shout out to Albert for sponsoring today's content.
If you guys watched the Laced Up podcast, which unfortunately has come to an end, you would know that my pick for MVP was Joel Embiid. Well, so far, Joel has been doing everything to prove me right. It's easy to forget last season that Joel was considered an MVP favorite by some until he faced some injury problems. Injuries suck, and I won't be the first nor last to tell you that. You know what's also easy to forget? How close the Philadelphia 76ers were to making the Eastern Conference Finals, and what Joel Embiid laid on the line for them to even be in that position in the first place. I really want to take a moment to shout out Joel's journey because I feel like it doesn't get enough love. This guy didn't start playing basketball until he was 15. I've been playing basketball nearly my whole life, and it's safe to say that I'm not close to the level of Joel. This guy battled through so much early in his career. The doubt, the hate, the adversity, the expectations. A lot of people say that comparison is the thief of joy. Well, sometimes I feel that way about expectations. Friday night, we would get the debut that we all expected. In that debut, the 76ers would win 133-102. This would be the Philadelphia 76ers' largest win of the season, and I don't think it was due to coincidence. I know a win against the Timberwolves may not be the flashiest win, but check it out. The Timberwolves can compete with anybody on any given night. I really do feel like the Timberwolves have done a great job of starting to lay their foundation. Anthony Edwards is a cold dude, and we all know what Cat is capable of. Don't sleep on the defensive prowess of Vanderbilt either, or the versatility of McDaniels. Versus Minnesota, Harden would drop 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists, putting to rest any concerns about there not being enough ball to go around. I really can't believe that people were saying this in 2022 because Harden has been an incredibly gifted passer throughout his career. And in Brooklyn, he often took a back seat. As a matter of fact, you could say that in Brooklyn, there would be times where he would overplay make. While I believe at this stage of his career, Harden is willing to do whatever it takes to become an NBA champion, it's clear that he doesn't want to do it by himself. And as a matter of fact, I'm never sure that he did. Harden was heavily criticized for his playing style in Houston, but the reality is, when he was doing what he was doing, the Rockets were at their best. While Houston did have its share of stars, it also had its share of questionable rosters and injuries, And I can't overstate that enough. As somebody that loves the Houston Rockets, do I have some regrets about the way that things went down? Of course. But I can still recognize Harden for what he brought to the team. I think as NBA fans, we overcomplicate things sometimes. Are there concerns with Harden? Of course. But I mean, at the end of the day, who wouldn't want this on their roster? This possession was going absolutely nowhere. And you know what Harden does? He doesn't panic. He does what he's been doing his whole career. Step back and bucket. Harden actually did things like this a few times this game.
Trying to get a hand up off balance, being done on your behalf. As here I am. Take a look at that step back.
This would be a welcome sight for 76ers fans. Because in the playoffs, when the game slows down, you need guys who are not only able to create for themselves, but also able to create for others. There are times in the playoffs where X's and O's just fly out the window, and you have to make something happen. You have to go get a bucket. I say this all the time. Playoff basketball is a different game. It's not ref the same. It's not played the same. The 76ers are going from a player who I absolutely love and is going to be phenomenal for Brooklyn, but was seen as a playoff liability, to one of the greatest offensive shooting guards ever. I know what you guys are going to say. Coop, Harden hasn't been good in the playoffs. And that's where I would respectfully disagree. In the playoffs, Harden averages 23.3 points per game on a true shooting percentage of 58.9. For reference, LeBron James has a 58.3 true shooting percentage, and Stephen Curry has a 60.9 true shooting percentage. Now, are there instances where Harden has performed poorly in the playoffs? Of course, he's only human, even though the way that he's been guarded might make you think otherwise.
And the 5-4 matchup in the Western Conference. The winner of this one will match up against the winner of the Clippers.
I'm not going to lie, Harden has had the league pressed for a minute, and now Joel Embiid is getting to witness it firsthand.
That was probably the most wide open I've ever been in my career. Man, I had a lot of easy baskets. I used to have to work for everything, but should have seen my face. I was just like, we never had this. We didn't even play our best, but I think we can be way better than that.
If you watch this game, there were actually quite a few instances where it felt like players were surprised by how open they were. Let's just call that the James Harden effect. Embiid went on to drop 34 points on 10 of 18 from the field, and the connection with James Harden was pretty real. Guys, it takes some players 40 games, a season or so to develop chemistry, and we saw massive potential in just one game. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm really happy for James Harden to be in Philadelphia. To put things in perspective, a few seasons ago, Harden's center was PJ Tucker. Now he's playing with a rare do-it-all big like Embiid. Looking back on things, I low-key feel kind of bad for PJ Tucker, because it's not like PJ Tucker was this young 24, 25-year-old. This guy was around 34, 35, going toe-to-toe with some of the NBA's best bigs, and holding his own, to be fair. Now, while PJ's defense was great, the spacing that he provided out of the corner was also very impactful. This season, Embiid is knocking down threes at 37% and wide open threes at 39%. When playing the 76ers, teams are going to have to give up something. If they're giving up wide open Embiid trays because Harden has all of the spacing in the world to wreak havoc, then it might be a very long night for them. Now, as I say that, it's going to be interesting to see how teams treat Thibault and how Doc Rivers manages him. Now, I've talked a lot about Harden and Embiid, but this team isn't just a two-man show. There's going to be a lot of room for other players to capitalize off of the gravity that Harden and Embiid have. Tyrese Maxey has been tough all season, and in the debut of Harden, he was no different. I thought Maxey played with great energy, and he didn't want to settle. Maxey is another guy who came in the league with the tag of, if they developed a jumper, watch out. And guess what he did? According to Tom West of Liberty Ballers, Maxey only made 9 pull-up threes in his rookie year. This year, let's just say it's looking a lot better, as he was leading 76ers guards before Harden's arrival. Maxey's pace is unreal. Versus the Timberwolves, he dropped 28 points on 12 of 16 shooting. There were times where I flat out felt like Maxey was running the floor, so Harden didn't have to. I love Maxey's game so much. He's up to 17 points this year, nearly 40% from the three, And he's a great reminder that you don't have to draft in the lottery to find talent. Check out Io, check out Herb. You don't even have to draft in the first round. I think there's so much talent coming into the league right now that if you trust your scouting department, any pick is valuable. You guys know what else is valuable? Harden moving off the ball like this.
Harris off the Millsap screen, kicking to Harden, corner three, got it!
I love an engaged James Harden. Do you guys think the Brooklyn Nets are feeling any type of way right now? I mean, come on, check out these pictures of Harden and Embiid working out after the game. You legit can't make this stuff up. If Harden is locked in and the chemistry is there, the 76ers are among the NBA's most dangerous teams. A team with two guys that have the ability to get to the line 20 plus times? Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare to play. How many teams would you put above the 76ers right now when it comes to title contention? Remember, though the start of this relationship was good, sometimes it can be all about the finish. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.